Cardano under 50 cents. I thought the dream was dead. Then I stumbled on a bizarre pattern hinting that this crash might actually be Cardano's plot twist. So, if I'm right about this, ADA could be gearing up for a run towards $3, and it's unfolding right now. I'm not even kidding, right? I woke up to a bloodbath in the market. Bitcoin fell below $100,000 for the first time since June, dragging everything down. Cardano got slammed over 6%, wicking to about 49 cents, a 5-month low. Now, in just a week, ADA lost 17%, and it's down 36% over the past month. It kind of felt like we were sliding straight into a new bear market, right? I was just this close to giving up on ADA, right? But then I saw an analysis, buried in a TradingView thread that completely changed my perspective. It introduced me to something called the power of three pattern. And the more that I read, the more that I felt that jolt of excitement. So, if you're an ADA holder here, or just love a good crypto plot twist, stick around, because I'm about to take you on a roller coaster of a ride that I just went through, from despair to cautious optimism, and by the end, you might just see this Cardano crash in a whole new light. So, here's what happened, right? I'm scrolling late at night, Doom's posting about ADA's price, and, I come across this user, 𝗗𝗶𝘀𝗰𝗱, and this is guy on TradingView, and he's basically talking about Cardano's following a power of 3, PO3, price pattern, and claims that we're entering its second phase. Now, at first I'm like, what on earth is PO3? And it turns out that it's basically a 3-act story for the price. Now, according to this guy, Act 1 already happened. You see, Act 1 was that huge rally that we saw late last year. Remember when ADA shot up from around 32 cents to $1.32? Yeah, that one. Well, it was apparently fueled by some pretty big news or hype around Donald Trump, right? I kid you not. But what's funny about this is to think that a Trump-related buzz pumped Cardano, but that was real. And the rally was real. Now, ADA went 4x in just weeks, and after that, we entered a rather long snooze fest of consolidation. The price just drifted sideways and down for months. Boring, yes, but now it makes sense. That was all part of the pattern's first phase, according to 𝗗𝗀𝘀𝗰𝗱. Then comes the crash the other day. ADA slipped under 50 cents. Felt like a nightmare, right? But 𝗗𝗀𝘀𝗰𝗱's chart, it was saying that the dip was actually the start of phase 2. The accumulation phase. In other words, right, the smart money quietly is loading up while us regular people are just panicking. Now, he expects this phase to be rather short-lived. Maybe just got a lot choppier, short-term corrections, but generally just holding around some key levels of support. Now, he pinpointed 43.5 cents as the level to really watch. Basically, he thinks that even if ADA dips again, it'll likely bottom at around 43.5 cents and not much lower than that. Interestingly, that number also lines up with the lower boundary of his chart, which is about 18% below the price at the time of his analysis. Scary? Maybe a little bit. But seeing a kind of concrete support zone gave me oddly more confidence than just watching a freefall with no end in sight. Now, here is where it gets really interesting. After this accumulation phase, 3 kind of kicks in, right? And it's the big one. Now, the chart shows Cardano blasting off in phase 3, breaking above the $1.32 high from last year and running past the $3 mark. In fact, it even suggests a retest of the all-time high around $3.10 from back in 2021. Now, that would be absolutely massive, something like a 485% gain from where we are at the point of this recording. When I kind of first heard that, I had to do a bit of a double take. I mean, $3 ADA sounds like pure hopium, right? Well, at least when we're basically holding at 50 cents. But the thing is, this analysis, it had receipts with it, right? It pointed out that even the technical indicators seem to support this scenario. For example, the daily MACD and relative strength index for ADA are both in the gutter right now, trending down along with the price. No surprise, right? But if, and when they do flip upwards, basically we're going to see momentum returning. Combine that with PO3 pattern playing out, it could be like throwing rocket fuel on a fire. And guess what? This $3 scenario isn't just one person's wild fantasy. lately I've been hearing $3 predictions from multiple corners of the crypto world. Now, crypto analyst 𝗗𝗶𝘀𝗰, you might know him from around Twitter or on YouTube, recently cited that Cardano breaking out of a long descending channel and said that he's targeting $3 as well. Then you've got Dan, the perma bull of Cardano, if you will. He's out there saying that ADA will hit $3 in the next bullish cycle. Now, Dan's been bullish forever. I mean, he called $7 for January. So, he's probably the first to kind of admit that timing is pretty tricky. But seeing things like these other analysts echo the same numbers, it kind of made me feel a little bit more confident. Like, okay, I'm not totally crazy for entertaining this idea. I mean, even my own analysis is pointing towards an Elliott wave 3 within an ending diagonal structure, targeting around that $5.02 at the 1.618 Fibonacci level. So it's not completely out of the realm of possibility in my own perspective. Now, $3, it has become a bit more of a common vision among many ADA believers, though. Of course, none of this is guaranteed to happen, right? It just shows that this isn't just a random number that's being pulled from a hat, right? There are some technicals and some historical reasons behind it. Now, before we all start seeing dollar signs and maybe looking to buy that Lamborghini that we've got our eye on, let me be super clear about one thing. This might just shock you too, because I'm not a financial advisor, and nothing in this video is financial advice. Cryptocurrencies, they are highly volatile, and you could lose all of the money that you invest. You should always do your own research and consult a qualified professional. After all, your investments are entirely your responsibility, and you should know that nothing is ever guaranteed when it comes to investing. Neither I, this channel, nor YouTube are liable for any losses, and this video is for entertainment and educational purposes only. Alright, so we had to get that out of the way. Look, right, I'm excited about what I found, but I'm not here to tell anyone to go all in on ADA, and that's, that it's a sure thing or anything like that, right? What I am saying is that as someone who's been in the Cardano trenches for a rather long time, this new perspective was a bit of a breath of fresh air. I mean, I've held ADA through some pretty ugly times, right? Now, I'm what you'd call a seasoned investor and long-term ADA holder. Maybe even a stubborn one, right? And one strategy that's helped me survive and even thrive just a bit is staking. So if you've watched the channel before, you know that I do run a Cardano stake pool. It's a shameless plug time, right? Because my pool is called 𝗗𝗶𝘀𝗰, C-H-E-E-K. And I mention it because if you are holding ADA and you're not staking it, then you're basically leaving free money on the table. Now, staking is like earning interest on your crypto without actually giving up control of it. Your ADA, it never leaves your own wallet. You can move it or undelegate it at any time. So it's not locked up or anything like that. So by delegating to a stake pool like mine, Cheeky Crypto, Cheek, or any other reputable pool for that matter, you actually help secure the network and you get rewarded with more ADA every 5 days or so. So while you're kind of sitting here waiting for the price to moon, or for this big phase 3 rally, our ADA can actually be growing for us. Now personally, seeing those little ADA rewards roll in actually makes the bear phases much more bearable. So it's kind of like, okay, the price is down, but hey, I earned just a little bit more ADA for basically doing nothing. And if you are staking with someone else, but you want to support the channel here, well, moving your stake to our Cheek pool is one of the best ways to actually help us out. Seriously, right? The pool rewards help me put out these videos for you guys. So it is a win-win situation. You potentially earn the same or even maybe slightly better rewards, and you can directly support the channel and what I do here. There's no pressure, of course. Any stake pool will give you roughly the same 3 to 5% APY in the longer run. But if you want to join our little community pool, then you know where to find us. The ticker is 𝗗𝗶𝘀𝗰. Now, onto something else that I do to stay ready for whenever the market throws, or at least whatever the market throws at us. Now, I do this out of kind of, OCD to a point, but I do have to maintain multiple crypto exchange accounts for my own peace of mind. Now, this is a little bit of a pro tip, at least in my mind, or maybe just a crypto survival tip then. Right? Exchanges, they can get overwhelmed or even go down during high volatility. We've all seen it before, right? Suddenly you can't log in, or withdrawals, they get frozen exactly when you need to make a move. So I've got a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C when it comes to trading platforms. Now I'm talking about signing up, KYCing on all of the major ones, and even some of the smaller ones too. For example, I use Binance, Coinbase, Kraken, Bybit, but I also have accounts with newer exchanges like Blowfin and BitGet. Now, by the way, the last two that I just mentioned there, Blowfin and BitGet, right? If you do sign up through my links on the website, then you will actually support the channel here because they are affiliate links. Just a heads up, of course. Now, the reason that I mention all of this is not just to shill links, but you will find them on our website, linked in the description down below, by the way, but it's to encourage you all to have backups. And if you want to know the exchanges that I am personally using, then check out the link that's in the description to my website, where I list all of the exchanges that I personally use. Now, if an exchange A freezes up, you can bet that I'm going to be firing up exchange B without missing a single beat. Right? This approach, it has saved my bacon during more than one flash crash or frenzy. So having multiple exchanges at your fingertips is like having multiple exits on a highway. If one is jammed, you can just take another one. All right, let's just pivot to something a little bit different, but still on the topic of squeezing more out of our crypto journey here. Now, some of you regular viewers will know that I have been experimenting with this project called Unity. Now, I'm not going to go too deep here because I have talked about it in a lot of previous videos. I'm just going to leave some links in the description for more information if you are interested. But in a nutshell, Unity is a decentralized network that lets everyday regular people earn crypto by basically using a smartphone to help verify the telecoms industry. And, it's pretty decent. So think of it like maybe renting out some of your phone power, right? Or maybe a phone, smartphone, or a tablet to basically help this network verify that there's no dead spots within the telecoms sector, right? And for doing all of that, you get paid in crypto for it. So what I did is I actually went ahead and bought a Unity Masternode NFT a little while back, which basically gave me 200 device licenses to run the Unity software. Now, the app itself, it hasn't launched at the point of this recording, but it should probably be live by the time this recording goes live on YouTube. But it's supposed to drop really, really soon anyway. Right? When it does, I plan to start a small test. I'm going to connect up 10 phones or so just to begin with. I want to see with my own eyes how the earnings stack on up. I will be making some pennies every single day, or will it be a few dollars every single day? What is the deal, right? Now, the cool part is I can choose to be paid in various different cryptocurrencies, and you can bet that I'm going to be choosing ADA to be probably one of the assets that I do choose, along with something like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and maybe a bit of XRP too. If all this works out, it could become a nice little side stream of passive income. Now, kind of like staking, but using hardware instead. So now I have to stress, right? This isn't me saying you should go and buy a Unity NFT, no, right, or anything like that. This is a new concept, and like anything in crypto, it will carry some risks and some uncertainty with it. Now, it has been founded by World Mobile. If you're in the Cardano ecosystem, you must know those guys, and by their sister company, Minutes Network. Now, those are two titans of the telecoms industry, and they have created this Unity project to help bolster what they're trying to do. So my point is that you should do your own research, and at least do your research if it is something that you are genuinely curious about. I'm going to put their light paper and their rewards calculator in the description down below so that you can crunch the numbers for yourselves. Now, I was so intrigued by Unity that I actually ended up doing something a bit different. I bought a second and third Unity NFTs, right? Now, my plan with the second and third ones is actually to lease some of the licenses out to the community members who are interested in Unity, but don't want to purchase a full master node for themselves. I mean, it is a lot of devices to manage, right? 200, and you're not going to want them all in one location. So basically, this is a maybe try before you buy kind of approach. You can just run a couple of devices under my node umbrella and you see if you like it. Now, I'm going to share more details in our Discord, which is linked in the description down below, for all the things that we're thinking about here, such as the revenue share. We're thinking probably 90% to you guys, 10% to the channel, how to lease the license, all of those kind of details will be down in the Discord. And by the way, if you haven't joined our Discord, there is a link in the description down below. It's a great place to learn and hang out with all of us. We have channels for asking questions, sharing research, and of course, commiserating about the market. I'm in there pretty much every single day. So if you want to follow up on anything I'm talking about, at least what I'm talking about here, then that is the place to do it, right? It's a really welcoming community of crypto enthusiasts that do genuinely want to help each other out. So between staking ADA, exploring things like Unity, and having my exchange backup plan, I have been staying pretty busy during this market downturn. Now, it's kind of my way of making sure that even if prices are as boring as they are, or bleeding out, then I'm still going to be growing my crypto stack and staying engaged. And it also gives me more stories to tell like this one. Now, to bring this all back full circle to Cardano's price story, what do I really think? Am I convinced ADA will hit $3 soon? Well, I'll be honest with you here. I am hopeful, but I'm also rather realistic about this. A 5x climb for a top 10 crypto, it is not unheard of, especially after brutal corrections, but it is still a bit of a tall order. Now, the pattern that I'm personally tracking within Cardano's price chart on the macro scale is something that's called an ending diagonal pattern. And that, unfortunately, actually carries a lot more of the volatility with it. So I'm not expecting these parabolic kind of candles. I'm expecting kind of pump, dump, pump, dump, pump, dump, pump, but slowly grinding our way up higher. So soon is probably not the word that I would use. I would say this is going to be an emotional roller coaster for many people involved. The charts essentially are hinting that it is possible for us to hit those higher targets, and Cardano's ecosystem fundamentals, they keep improving too. Things like dApps, sidechains, upgrades rolling out. But we're likely going to need the whole crypto market to cooperate here. ADA isn't going to go to $3 if Bitcoin and Ethereum are sinking too, right? With all that said, though, I do genuinely believe that ADA's story is far, far from over. Every time that the crowd declares Cardano is dead, Cardano just proves them wrong eventually. It's kind of like the tortoise and the hare, slow and steady, then bam, a sudden sprint when you least expect it. Now, maybe this PO3 pattern is signaling that next sprint, but maybe it isn't. But you know what? I'm choosing to stay optimistic about things. Right? I'd rather, I guess, hold and stake a project that I believe in through the rough times than try to chase whatever is pumping this particular week. Now, if this pattern plays out and ADA gets close to a $3 level, all this pattern will feel 100% worth it, or patience will feel 100% worth it, right? And if not, well, I'm going to have more ADA anyway because I'm staking it and I'm going to be getting some battle scars from the experience. But now, of course, I'm going to be keeping an eye on that 43-cent-ish support level. And if ADA can hold there, then starts creeping back up, that could be our cue that the phase 3 is kicking in. If it slices right through and stays low, then I know that this particular theory was more of a fairy tale than a fact. Either way, of course, I'm going to keep you guys updated on it. I think transparency here is going to be key. So if I talk about being bullish based on a pattern, then I'll also talk about the pattern if it fails, right? There's no hopium peddling right here, just sharing my own journey with you guys. In any case, hope that walking you through my little debate night research rabbit hole gave you some food for thought for Cardano. At the very least, you saw how I approach these wild predictions and try to make sense of them, right? And hey, if you've enjoyed coming along on this adventure, you can do me a favor by hitting that like button and the subscribe button. I've got plenty more stories and experiments, and of course, crypto updates to share. And I'd love you all to be along this ride with me. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one.